Welcome back to Health Reversion. You're here with Adrian, and I'm not sure what part of the world that you're viewing this video from, but here in Australia, our judicial system is encouraging, allowing, and basically enabling youth as young as 9, 10 to commit crimes against the Australian people. So many people are asking, how is this allowed to be happening? There's lots of community meetings, there's political movements, there's new parties being started up just specifically to tackle this problem. It wasn't happening 50 years ago. It wasn't even happening to the extent that it's happening today 15 or 20 years ago. So I wonder what's happened. Well, if you've got a few minutes, I will reveal the answer to you in this video, so stay tuned. Okay, so a little bit of woo-woo for you, but I'll just touch on it very quickly in the interest of this platform and staying on it. The controllers of this world are essentially interested at the moment, or fascinated or obsessed with one thing. That one thing is the economy. Growing the global economy, regardless of the ramifications on the environment, regardless of the ramifications and challenges it brings to the people, it doesn't matter to the controllers. The number one priority is to grow economic activity in as many ways as possible. Now, to be fair, a lot of those ways are positive, and they include people collaborating and working together and things that are good for the environment. However, on the flip side of that, there are many sneaky underlying ways that the system allows economic activity to flourish, but not in the ways that benefit humans, and certainly not in the ways that benefit the environment. So earlier this year, I was accused of being a racist, and unfortunately, there was no conversations had about this. There was no cross-checking or any evidence provided. My car was just maliciously damaged to the tune of $4,500. That's about $3,000 US. So at the hands of a 12-year-old, possibly 13, in as little as 30 seconds, the following economic activity occurs. So the first one is repairs. We've got the paint, so it's going to require basically a whole new respray. We've got the local panel beater who'll benefit from this. We've got the car manufacturer who'll have to bring out a couple of new parts. So that's the repair job. That's the $4,500 Australian or $3,000 US. A quick addition to this is also car hire while I'll be without my car, which has come to $650 Australian, which is to the late fours in the US. Next up, we have legal fees. So if I was to pursue this in a civil action, and if I was to self-represent, it probably cost me, based on what I've had a look at the court websites, around about $300 to begin the case. Okay, it might not seem that much, but if I was to employ a lawyer to handle this for me, I've been told that it would cost somewhere between $5,000 to $10,000, and that's really just to get the case going, and there's no guarantee that I would ever recoup those costs, even if I won the case. The next one is psychological. Now, I'll admit, this really threw me. So I went to my general practitioner. I also went to see a psychologist to get some counselling. So these are another sector of our society that benefits from youth crime. And the final one we'll discuss here today is the police and insurance. So the police have used a certain amount of man hours on this case. I don't know how much it is. I'm not criticising the police, by the way. I understand and empathise with basically their hands being tied for any of this. And the second one is the insurance company. So there's been an assessor who's employed, there's been administration workers who have been in contact with me, etc. So again, more benefits to different industries, different sectors. But what does this really mean? What does this really come down to? It comes down to jobs. Everything I've mentioned there, from the paint company to the panel beater, the insurance company, the police, if these acts of crime didn't happen, then that economic activity wouldn't have occurred. Now, it'd be lovely if these acts of crime didn't occur. However, as you can see, this particular young adolescent, I said 12, probably 13 years old, in as little as 30 seconds has been able to create this level of economic activity. $5,650 is the cost that I have incurred so far. That's around $3,800 US. Now for me, the role that I play in our society, it would take me at my hourly rate, which is approximately 90 Australian dollars, it will take me 63 hours to contribute to the economy the same amount of money, the 5,650 Australian dollars or the 3,800 US, that this young adolescent has been able to do in less than 30 seconds. Didn't have to put a uniform on, didn't have to do a degree, spend 5-6 years at uni, didn't really have to do any preparation, just had to willfully and maliciously damage someone else's property. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, because it is of benefit to the overall economy, the jobs it creates, the parts, the paint, and one of the hard facts I've had to face recently, and many others have had to face as well, tens of thousands of people across this country, and God knows what's happening across the world, but essentially, in terms of protection, in terms of an authority coming in to try and bring about some justice here and rectify the injustice, who's being protected? It's certainly not me. It's not the taxpayer. It's not the person that's positively contributing to society. It's actually the child doing that malicious damage. But as strange as this might sound, I actually feel sorry for these youth as well. And that's not a way for me to find some sort of closure on this and go, oh, I forgive and all. It's got nothing like that. I'm still looking at legal options at least to try and bring about some justice here. But the point I would like to make here is that the judicial system, the man-made judicial system that operates in most countries across this planet, it's designed to basically be a business. Yes, every now and then it will capture a criminal, it will put somebody away that is a danger to society. I understand that it has its place, but quite frankly, it operates as a large business, and there are so many people, small companies, medium-sized, big corporates, that benefit from the way this judicial system is set up. So these youth are thinking, I've got away with it, you know, nobody's done anything, the police didn't do anything, the courts didn't find me. It's like, hang on a second, there's a completely different law or set of laws that operate on this planet. One that we teach in school is the law of gravity, and anybody that tries to challenge the law of gravity or defy it for any extended period is going to get very sore, very tired, etc. So the law of gravity operates as one of those natural laws, but there's also another law. It's called the law of cause and effect. So if you do some sort of action, that action is eventually going to come around and return to you. Now, it doesn't have to be the exact action. So this student that damaged the car, it's not necessarily that that student will get a car one day and suddenly it will be damaged, but hey, it could happen. But it's more the action and the intent and what you've done. So the actual action was one of malicious, deliberate intent to create harm. And that has been sent out into the ether, and it's just hovering around out there. Now, it could be 2 days, it could be 2 weeks, could be 2 years, could be 20 years. Nobody knows the time for the law of cause and effect to actually come full circle and complete its job. But it will complete its job. It completes its job with every human. Every thought, deed, and action that someone is taking and making on this planet is being recorded. I'm not talking about CCTV, I'm not talking about some book at a police station. I'm just talking about the general natural laws that don't look at what skin color you are, how old you are, what trauma you've been through, all the other things and excuses that the judicial system, the man-made judicial system, takes into account, and it seems right, but basically it enables and allows people to get away with crime. The law of cause and effect does not allow that, and nobody's educating our youth on this. Even adults don't know this, but the fundamental validity of the law of cause and effect cannot be denied by anybody, even the judicial system. And that's why I feel sorry for these youth, because I think the biggest disservice is being done to them because nobody seems to be telling them the ramifications that their actions that they're doing now are going to have in their future. And they're probably not actually going to be able to live their best life. And just coming back to the law of cause and effect, sometimes that law multiplies. So for example, if you were to help somebody earn and make $100, you might educate them on how to do that, you might provide work for them to do that. However it is, at bare minimum, you are going to receive that $100 back at some point in the future. But oftentimes it's multiplied. Sometimes you'll receive $200, $300, $500, maybe even $1,000 back. And it works with the other side as well. So if you're doing things that are negative, if you're causing pain, causing financial issues for people, etc., making them scared in their homes, then those actions will also come back in equal at least, but could be multiplied. This is going to eventually manifest in possibly health issues. They could be having accidents, all kinds of bad luck. So to wrap up here, if you've got any ideas, any solutions for the youth crime epidemic, would love to hear your comments below. Until I see you in the next video, keep well.